Welcome everybody to Dynasty stream for Rampage Summer 2023 for the quarterfinals, a best of 5 series we have here. I'm joined by Swiper. Thanks
Heyo.
for coming in. And I guess with that, we just quickly gonna jump over to the
I'll bring in.
draft. Yep.
What are you seeing anything exciting in bands yet? Not really. I mean, all of these are just like all of these champions can go static shiv and just win the game. So
True.
it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah, although it's go on.
I was gonna say I know for a fact that Dynasty, their mid laner does like the LeBlanc, so that might be more of a targeted ban. But I also know that it's just super strong right now.
Definitely, and especially like LeBlanc, more of being a flex pick. I think some teams even implemented it as a top laner. We've been seeing it a lot. The other bans are like just mainly focused on the ADCs, and then even a Kindred ban coming in. And then with that, we already kind of see the picks here. Kai'Sa, Tristana, one of like most promising picks for the ADCs. Both picks can also be flex with bot lane. So, what do you think? What is Dynasty kind of?
I was gonna say the
here?
first thought, I was like, the Tristana to me seems a little more flexible than the Kai'Sa. So I think the Tristana is like I think I actually really like the Tristana as an answer to the Kai'Sa, because it is also a lot of like fairly instant damage as well, but it is also like flexible mid, so it's got to play on the minds of Eclipsing Tides through the rest of this draft, which is really smart by Dynasty Amethyst in my opinion.
Yeah, and we see them also lock into J4. I guess not really a meta, but maybe more of a counter comfort pick.
I was gonna say, let me just check who is their jungler, because I actually don't know much about LXT. I know that Jarvan is really good in 5v5. I just don't know. He's just not really a meta solo queue jungler right now. But that ultimate, that Cataclysm, especially with the Tristana, is pretty scary.
Definitely. Just like hard engage, just making sure you just like go all in and Tristana can actually follow you up. Especially if the Tristana's flex mid, any type of control mage will be definitely under pressure of death. If you see Thresh Ahri also already getting picked, Eclipsing Tides going for more of the meta and like prio picks. I think Kai'Sa and Ahri both are just like safe kind of in their sense with how strong they are in the meta, and they just pair it up with the Thresh. I'm still surprised that we haven't seen a Rel pick, although like I think it is, in my opinion, like the most broken champion in the game.
Yeah, so there it is. So it is Tristana mid. Or I mean, I've heard people talking about. I have heard some people going Varus top. I don't think we'll see it here. That'd be a little bit crazy, but yeah, the Tristana mid. I mean, as you said, like ETNM is really going for like almost a pick comp. It looks like they're trying to just choose fights on their terms. If they miss, it's whatever. Whereas this Dynasty looks like they're just like, we're going in full steam ahead. If we miss, then oh well, try next fight.
Exactly. And I think Versa actually a good implementation, because I think especially when you see Kai'Sa Thresh, Tristana's usage kind of goes down a little bit, because once you W in, or like even if you want to W out, Thresh has that potential outplay on the Tristana. Like most of you probably have seen the outplays of like Thresh just flaying Tristana out of her W. So definitely a good pick on the Thresh, but a good adaptation coming from Dynasty as well. If you're seeing more kind of bans towards the jungle and top lane with the Kled Wukong. Kled, I guess a little bit of like maybe a lane bully for Outrage's kind of champ pool.
Yeah,
and then just support bans.
I'm just trying to look to see if ETX, if that's something he specializes in, or it doesn't look like it. Maybe it's just he's got a couple games on it that I've seen here, but it doesn't seem like he's got a ton of games. So maybe that's just a nod to the power of the champion, or what they think, or what Outrage thinks of the champion. Doesn't like it, or I'm not sure about that one. And then I mean, obviously, from the side of ETNM, we got the Rel Nautilus double support ban, super smart. Both of those supports are good into the Thresh, and obviously you've got a mixed match up, so try and benefit as much as you can from it.
Yeah. And like the Swain pickup is also something that I really like. It actually is a pretty safe pick, especially into Thresh. And once you hit level 6, it definitely provides a lot of damage, a lot of frontline sustained tank, and especially with a team that you're kind of looking to go all in, you can definitely keep the fights going for this Tristana to maybe get some resets in. We see a blind Mordekaiser, which I don't really like, because I personally think there's a decent amount of counter picks that they actually haven't even banned. Things like Fiora, Jax, even Olaf. Things like that can
I
be a
was
really pain for
I was
Mordekaiser.
just thinking of the Fiora because I think I've seen Outrage play it a couple times, and that'd be. I mean, that is a skill matchup. It's basically can you parry the ultimate or not, but I
Yeah,
mean,
there.
or as you said, there comes the Olaf. I mean, Dynasty is really drafted just to like run at your face comp, right? And I think that on the other side, Eclipsing Tides are really they've kind of they're trying to dissect Dynasty. It looks like they got the Sejuani stun, they can pull the Mordekaiser away. You got the Ari for the charm and the engage from distance. You got the Thresh with the Lancer to disengage. Like you got a lot of options. But I actually really like Dynasties here. It's very simple. Pull the trigger, go, roll over the fight, reset, do it again. Whereas from the other side, Eclipsing Tides, I really think it's going to come down to execution. And I mean, we'll just have to see if they can hold up to that level of gameplay.
Yeah. And to be honest, what I really like here is that Dynasty's team comp just overall does really good into Eclipsing Tides. Like Kai'Sa Thresh, it is not. It is a lane where you can be aggressive with the usage of Kai'Sa, but into Varus Swain, you're in a range disadvantage. Your all-ins are kind of weaker because of the Varus's passive, and like you can actually get one shot. On the other side of the map, Olaf is probably one of the hardest matchups for Mordekaiser because you're always looking to get your level 6 with Mordekaiser, kind of be safe, but then Olaf just cleanses it all. You can't really do much. He kind of fist fights you. And there isn't really a good answer on the Eclipsing Tides side. Thresh cannot peel an Olaf, neither can Ari, neither can a Sejuani. Their only bet is basically this Kai'Sa bursting through this Olaf as fast as possible, but for that to be a reliable source, that this Kai'Sa has to be fed early on, which is again a little bit too hard for Eclipsing Tides to really pull off. And then like Varus, I actually had the opportunity to play Sejuani into Varus the other day in my own scrim, and oh my god, does it feel just terrible. Varus with the max health percentage damage just melts through you. So
Varus is a disgusting champion right now. I think he's severely underrated. I played a game into a Varus. I was playing Illaoi top lane, and it was just a solo queue game, but it just felt so rough because you literally can't even walk at him. He's got I think the one I went had Hail of Blades, and it was just so many autos so fast that it was just crazy. But I want to just point to your point again to just emphasize because you kind of pointed at Eclipsing Tides. There's no burst from the side of Eclipsing Tides. I mean, Ari burst, like going burst Ari really doesn't feel rewarding anymore. And Kai'Sa I think it's just too many items to get to that point where you can go in and just burst someone down with a Kythian Rain. Even then, I don't know like if you'll be able to get through the Olaf fast enough. So he should have a pretty fun time just hitting R. I'd love to see him take Ghost here and just because I think he'll be fairly safe to just run in and just start hitting people.
yeah. I think the only issue that I can see for the Olaf is like maybe the Jarvan ulti itself might be a little bit counteractive for
Yeah,
what Olaf is trying to look to do.
self counter, yeah.
Yeah, but like again, Jarvan, he doesn't even need to really ult. I think like he just EQs ultis, and then once like Varus and like Tristana does their damage, once Olaf is into fight, you can just like kind of take the Cataclysm off, and then just let the Olaf just run through your team comp. And again, like Varus can actually go a bunch of builds here. Like he can go for the on hit, just like a lot of DPS for himself. He can go lethality if they're just looking to make sure this Kai'Sa is not having a fun time in lane. And if you want to go for the scaling again, like he can just be that APK for his team. Like with the Swain, it is definitely a good like idea because Swain isn't going to provide a lot of AP damage to your team comp, especially from the support. And AP Varus is just going to one-shot the Sejuani, which is like definitely a pain for Eclipsing Tides to work with. But if there's not anything else that you want to add, the teams are already
I don't
locked in.
know if we'll see the AP Varus just because of how tanky Eclipsing Tides is. That's the other thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing what it is. But I mean, we will shortly. they don't really have a lot of AP, so they might just run the AP Varus. We'll see. I do think that we can send it to break, wait for the spectator delay, and we'll be back with you all in 3 minutes. So.
Yep. And welcome back, everybody. We're moving on to the Summoner's Rift with this quarterfinals matchup between Dynasty and Eclipsing Tides. And we already see some movement onto the Rift. I normally like asking my co-casters, looking at like the Summoner spell choices, like rune choices, anything interesting to you?
Right now, I mean, we got the. It looks like we got an AD Varus which I kind of expected. Really nice to see. In terms of that, other than that, I mean, everything seems pretty standard. Obviously, it looks like we got some kind of
Gonna cut
invade
you
here.
off. The flash hook lands, and then the grab start from the Mordekaiser will mean the first blood already going over to the side of Eclipsing Tides, and the kill stays on Kaisa as well. So basically, the best start they can ask for, and only blowing flash from the Thresh. Not really any other summoners burned. So good invade coming from Eclipsing Tides, and then Illicit Raven not really giving the respect to the Thresh Hook. Oh, already a start with the Kirchase shard for the Kaisa, so yeah.
That was definitely that was a planned play. You can definitely see that they, I mean, because that was only 400 gold, so that shard, you know, you got to plan that. If you buy a Doran's blade, you can't buy that, obviously, so something they had worked on and knew that was a possibility. So really well done by Eclipsing Tides.
Yeah, and we see both junglers starting from their respective reds. I can understand the Sejuani actually doing this route so that he can help the Mordekaiser before the level 6 comes through. And then Jarvan obviously is going to be looking to path down bot with no flash on the Thresh. But it is going to be interesting because, like, some summoner starts... Actually, we see OT being charmed right before the turret. And then a little bit more trading as well. Vishva already chunked to less than half. And OTF is going to be able to spot the Sejuani, so they have all the information coming in from mid, and this is exactly what you want from your Tristana.
For a minute there, it didn't look like OTF actually saw the Sejuani because of how tucked up the Sejuani was, but unfortunately not the case.
Another Swaney landing, so good laning coming from Dynasty's bot lane. Definitely trying to punish this Thresh without the flash. And if another E lands and the Thresh is overextended, he might actually be going down, especially with the Ignite's help on Illicit Raven. We see Jarvan
one thing to note about the early start was that it was a leashless start for the Jarvan, which did mean that top lane is going the way of Outrage currently. Sneaky play set up by the Jarvan here. He's 2 camps. He skipped 2 camps, so they're not expecting him for another minute.
Yeah. And they need to be careful here. Downfall actually walking up a little bit, but they're not going to pull the trigger. There was no information of the Jarvan here, but they are respecting the potential gank. Downfall will now move into the river and ward that bush, so next time Extinction comes in here, he is going to be on vision. He's thinking of it. He sweeps. Okay, he finds out the ward. But we already see some huge farm lead down in the mid lane. 28 to 16 is definitely a disadvantage that you don't want to give over to the Tristana, but it kind of happens from the nature of the matchup. And then we also look at the mid lane, and there is a flash burned.
Is that the Tristana early game with the... I'm actually surprised to see the Tristana early game doesn't have the Hail of Blades. More of a late game Tristana build here. I really prefer taking this Tristana early game or mid lane for its early game and the amount of damage you can do and force people out. And as you see, there's already a 10 CS discrepancy here between the Tristana and the Ahri.
Yeah. And for a second, it looked like maybe if Rod Stepbro and ETX was looking for a potential dive, but it won't happen. They're just gonna back out. Outrageous also has his own CS lead in his lane, so both of these soul lanes doing really well for themselves. And Extinction is spending quite an amount of time here. He is down a base compared to Rod Stepbro, and unless the Eclipsing Tides side makes a mistake here, it's going to be a kind of a wasted time. But Downfall is actually looking to face check. The EQ misses. Swain grab also missed, so nothing will really come out of this play. And now he's going to look to reset, but Sejuani is actually moving down here. So as soon as the Jarvan hits, this is kind of an awkward place to be in. The Flay lands, Illicit Raven gets hit by the hook, and we will see him go down for the second time. The Q lands on Toxic Koopa, He might need to burn the flash here soon. He does have the cleanse. He runs the cleanse. The flash comes through from downfall. And that is a 3-0 Kaisa 5 minutes in.
That's just bad play from the side of Dynasty. You know, they spend way too much time going for the Jarvan play.
Up top side, Outrage was actually down the XP, so he doesn't hit 6, and X punishes that mistake from Outrage, ultis him, takes him to the Death Realm, and gets another kill for his team. 4-0, 6 minutes in, and already a 2.3k gold lead. Extinction, it looks like from the minimap he's up there, trying to catch the wave, but definitely
Dynasty,
nothing will come through.
they gotta turn their brains on. I don't know. I think they're playing with brains off or something. But right now, it's just not happening. The plays are not coming through. They're not connecting. They're still looking, which is something. But yeah, this is you know, when your Tristana mid lane is the only thing you got going for you, it's a little rough.
Yeah. And for me, it's like they don't even have to really force too much because they're actually a team that like. Top lane will win after level 6. The jungle matchup is kind of even with like 2 engaged like tanky.
Sneak here by the Sejuani. You just want to notice that the Sejuani is actually behind bot lane.
He's here. No cleanse for Toxic Koopa. So if you can get on top of him, he's going to be scary. But Rod Stepbro, he was a little bit chunked, so the ignite pushes him off.
Little early on that play. I think if he waited a little bit longer. Had the thresh a little bit farther up would have been a very nice play, but unfortunately did that. Just pulled the trigger too early. Is what it is.
It happens to best of us.
Is what it is. Got the ignite from the Swain. Did have to burn the flash.
Yeah.
Going again in the top lane.
Yeah, but Outrage is not really. It doesn't look like he's taking the better side of the trades. He has some life still, so he's going to be back. And they force the ultimate out of the Ahri. Spirit Rush will not be available to him. So maybe in a few minutes, if they're looking to fight, potentially, maybe on this Herald or something, they are going to have that ultimate on cooldown. And we see some bush camp coming from the side of ET, but they see the Jarvan, and they are going to back out. Fallen Warrior does have his flashback, so pretty safe. And this... And to be honest, these Swain Nevermores are not landing too much, especially in the laning phase. So ET is kind of chilling for now.
Yeah,
Toxic
they just get to sit. I mean, it looks like Instinction. He's just throwing so much of this bot lane. I mean, man, focus that Tristana. She's doing so well. She's got the farm. I really think that this Jarvan here is focusing on the wrong lane. But I do get wanting to get the Vars ahead. I do understand.
One thing about that is that like Varus is low actually. Rod Stepper was on the Herald, and we see some tops fighting up topside. And this is what I meant when Olaf will run through you. When he has the ultimate, Rod Stepper goes in to secure the Herald. He does secure it, but pays with his life. So Dynasty finally getting some scores onto the board, and it being on Tristan is probably the best case scenario for them.
Now, while all of that was happening, there was actually didn't get shown on stream. There was a sneaky little play happening bot. Toxic Koopa did get hit by a hook, did get caught out, but had a really nice return, forcing the Eclipsing Tides back. Just missed his ultimate under tower, which would have netted him a kill, but overall, well done in a 1v2 for Toxic Koopa there.
Oh. And we're finally seeing an item completed on the side of Eclipsing Tides. OTF is looking to chunk down this Ahri a little bit more, but actually eats quite the damage himself. The Shiv finally completed for Kaisa will probably mean that this lane control will, even if it wasn't until now, will definitely be under the control.
I'm shocked. We see a static Shiv in a game. I'm absolutely blown away.
To be honest, with how many nerfs it received, I've been seeing some people like kind of opt in for different builds, but OTF actually gets baited, uses the cleanse, uses his ultimate to get away, but one more stack of Spirit Rush for Vishwa, it might mean OTF going down, and it will be. OTF goes down, and Vishwa is able to pick up his first kill of the game, and then the Herald will be dropped.
Harold, that's a lot of plates
Yeah.
going down. Critically there to note, OTF did not get off the 4th auto attack on the bomb to get him the reset, which is what ultimately cost him his life there. Had he got the reset, flashed out, jumped, he would have been fine, but unfortunately didn't get it and had to pay the price.
Yeah.
Very predictable. I mean, you saw it. It seemed very predictable maneuvers from the Tristana there. You know, Word Step Bro just read him like a book.
Yeah. And he's been kind of playing this aggressive playstyle almost the whole game. And average actually might be an issue. He pops the ultimate, but it is not enough. He was just chunked way too low before the ultimate came through. So he goes down for the second time. And this lane is supposed to be something that should be just winning on its own, but after the early game mistake made by Outrage, it looks like ETX is actually having a good time here.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite unfortunate for Outrage. I mean, give the Olaf a couple items. I think he does beat the Mordekaiser. I would like to see some heal cut come through for him fairly shortly, just for the 1v1. Although, I mean, this is 5v5 League of Legends, maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, you know, that it's just the Mordekaiser there with his self-healing is just absolutely out-sustaining the Olaf, which is weird to say, but it does seem to be the case.
Yeah, and like another thing that I want to mention, like Rod Step Bro has been really on point with his pathing and ganking. He's been able to get the timers in. On the other hand, Extinction kind of making plays where it's known, and Outrage doesn't really have Ragnarok here, so we might be seeing him go down for the 3rd time here. He's not even going to use the Ghost. This is not winning for him. He does get Rod Step Bro pretty low, but OTF actually gets charmed here as well. And things are not going good.
That right there just, you know, illustrates your point exactly. Step Bro is just, he's everywhere he needs to be, you know?
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy.
And I think maybe it was even spot on vision, if I'm not wrong. There's a control ward over to that side, so I wonder if it was just like a misplay from Outrage. Maybe he wasn't paying attention to the mini-map.
He walked through river, and they have nothing in the river.
Oh, OTF is getting chunked. And Vishwa with the last stack of the ultimate. Flash Charm lands, and he's gonna pick up another one. And this lane dominant draft that Dynasty went for, where this Tristana, Ahri, and Mordekaiser Olaf lanes that is supposed to be winning for them, is going really bad. And if that is not enough, this Kai'Sa, we're looking at the 3-0 Kai'Sa here, so Dynasty is kind of in a corner.
I'm really not sure what's happening. They picked a fairly easy to execute team comp. Well, I do know what's happening, and it's called Word Step Bro. It's just causing all the issues, you know? Varus gets stuck in a washing machine, bam, Word Step Bro is right there.
Outrage. Yeah, he's actually pretty behind at this point, so he's not going to be able to do much here.
He keeps walking up here and expects something different to happen. I don't know what he expects, or, you know, when he expects to win, but Step Bro just knows to be there every single time and punishes every single time, so I really don't know what you can do as the Olaf right now.
OTF, actually, the mistake coming from Vishwa just gets picked up by the side of Dynasty, and a kill going over to the Tristana, for the Jarvan, and some, I guess, signs of life coming from the side of Dynasty, but currently they're down 3,500 gold. The top side turret actually goes down for X. The Herald is coming up, so they're not going to be able to contest this either. Just huge leads everywhere. Critically,
if you look on the mini-map there, you can see Varus. They just left Varus down there in the bot lane. So they pick up, and you see it there, they pick up the turret bounty. They're gonna pick up a second turret mid, unlock that mid lane. Huge play. I mean, obviously they lose the Herald, but when you look at the state of the game, opening up that mid lane and getting some gold in their pockets really, really important for the side of Dynasty. So really good move by them. I mean, obviously, Blast. So
Zeros?
obviously, they're just running it down mid.
Yeah, this is going to be awkward because there's
There's gonna be
nobody
two towers.
faster. Yeah, and the tier 2 turret will be going down. That's a lot of gold. And actually, for a team that's ahead, taking this turret down means a lot. Now you get the whole map kind of open to place down visions for. And
They're gonna get a third
wow.
charge off as well. There's gonna be 3 towers. Oh my goodness, huge overstep by...
X might be an issue. He goes into the death realm, but I think he took the Swain. So Swain pops his ultimate. It's looking hard. Stopwatch is burned too, and we will see X going down here. Gives over a big shutdown. But to be honest, 3 turrets with the Herald, plus a top turret going, bot lane turret going down as well, and with the dragon spawning soon, if the side of Eclipsing Tides can pick up this as well, like the game is almost like pretty much left open, and Extinction might be picked here. Forced to burn the flash, gets Glacial prisoned, uses his own Cataclysm. Gorgenker is able to heal him up a decent amount, but Fallen Warrior barely dies, but Toxic Koopa will pay with his life for that one as well. 2-for-1 trade in the mid lane, but with the dragon going down,
Just overstay after overstay by both teams.
Careful.
Both teams just seem to be thinking they get something and think they can push farther, and they can't.
Yeah, X actually is here with no ultimate, and he might be getting picked here as well. The Ragnarok is burned. Tristana uses the rocket jump to go in, and another kill actually going over to this Tristana. And Eclipsing Tides kind of making the mistake of just trying to fist fight when they don't really have to. They can just play for the objectives like they've done for the last few minutes. And now it is going to be a 4v5. No Ragnarok though. So the usage of Olaf will definitely be less than optimal for the side of Dynasty. But again, 4v5, do not underestimate this. Fallen Warrior kind of trying to zone out Toxic Koopa. The hook lands onto the Jarvan. Extinction is getting chunked as well. Your dragon is being burned.
One for dragon burn.
1k, the smite is going to come through. Jarvan actually lands it, and illicit Raven is in the middle of 4 people with his ultimate active. Extinction lives. It looks like this might be the fight that Dynasty was looking for. Vishwa uses Spirit Rush to get out of the team fight. He jumps back in, but he's not able to find anything, and Fallen Warrior is on the wrong side of the map.
He's run, buddy, run!
He lands the hook onto the Raptors, but it's not going to be enough. And the gold lead is dead even now. Eclipsing Tides taking a fight that they were outnumbered in, and they paid with their lives. And Dynasty is officially back into the game.
I think that I think I think they thought they could take the fight just because they blew so many ultimates to kill that Mordekaiser. But I think one of the things they didn't quite realize was a lot of the resources they had from the side of Eclipsing Tides were in that Mordekaiser. He's had 4 of the kills. He's got almost 2 full items. So I think that they just overestimated the amount of damage they did without EX there to supplement for them.
Yeah, and I also think Eclipsing Tides also forgot that, okay, you've been actually winning this whole game, but I think it was more off of the mistakes from Dynasty. So when we look at a 5v5 team fight, the team comp advantage is still on the side of Dynasty. Like, you still don't really have anyone that can pressure this Varus. And on the other side, your front line is basically getting free hit by the Olaf, by the Tristana, by the Varus. And, like, you need to be careful while you're taking these 5v5s.
And the biggest playmaker was out of that fight too, right? Stepbro didn't have his ultimate because they used it getting the...
You might see a fight here.
Can we pan to bot lane here for a minute? No?
It is going to be fine. I was looking from the champion. I was just looking at the champion banners, and like I just saw Ari's HP are just like going from 100 to almost a 0. So
yeah, Tristana's getting really strong now. Once I think one more item comes through for her, and she'll be able to one shot both the only real burst style or super big damage from the side of ET in the Ari and the Kaisa. Will have to be very, very wary of the Tristana shortly.
Yeah, and like as this team's kind of start playing out this pair, and want to mention the items again. We see the second items actually come through for both of these top laners. Junglers still working on it, but the quick blades finish for the Tristana and the Rage Blade finish for the Varus is actually really important for the side of Dynasty. Now their damage is definitely looking a little bit scarier, and Phoenix Warrior might be caught. The Chains of Corruption land. Olaf is getting chunked hard as well. They're going to be able to pick up the Thresh, but the Ragnarok is already used, and ETX is TPing into this team fight. This is where the gold is for ET, and it looks like they are going to start picking up these kills. Vishwa lives on really low HP. Rod Stepper really low as well. X, can he do it? OTF actually, did he rocket jump out?
OTF jumps out. He rocket jumped out there at the end. I think he didn't want to sit inside that Mordekaiser thing any longer. I can't blame him. That thing hurts. But wow, I mean, for a minute there it looked kind of iffy when Downfall kind of, you know, took himself to his own downfall and just dove the back line. But you know, they pulled it back there. You know, that Sejuani and that Mordekaiser are doing so much damage. You know, consistent, sustained damage. Critical thing to note, I think, there was that the Sejuani, the Frozen Heart for the Sejuani, I believe it was in for that fight, which really hinders that Jarvan, you know, that Varus, as well as at that point the Olaf as well, because his Ragnarok had disappeared.
Yeah, and I think a really bad call coming from the Dynasty as well. They burned a lot of cooldowns just to take down full next warrior. Like the Ragnarok was used, the Chains of Corruption was used, the Cataclysm was used.
All the ultimates used there.
When you use all of them, then you're not gonna win the team fight, and Extinction might be getting picked here. But he is able to flag and drag out, and the Spirit Rush and the Glacial Prison is burned. And with that, the Baron is actually being started. The side of ET is just on the other side of the map, and they're now moving towards it. The Shurelius is being burned, but Red Slipro is a little bit too far away from here. And Extinction jumps in. He is able to secure the Dragon Baron as well. Pardon me. He might pay with his life. Can he actually trade a kill? He does. So he goes 1-for-1 as well. So
that's not even. That's a Gore Drinker Jarvan. She just absolutely eviscerated the Ahri.
Yeah, and the Dragon is actually up here as well, but it is a 4v4. There's no jungler available to the side of Dynasty, so I'm expecting this Dragon to go to the side of ET, but it looks like they might be just walking up to fight. The Ragnarok is available, a huge pull coming from this Mordekaiser, but he might actually not be able to even kill this Tristana. There is this Blast Band, he's able to kill the Trist, but the Dragon is at 600 HP, 18. The Dragon is going to go down. X is not able to pick up the kill onto Toxic Koopa. And play after play, Dynasty is going net positive on these.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what ET was thinking there. I mean, they'd used all their ultimates up in that, or most of their offensive ultimates up at that Baron play that also didn't go their way. And then they try and take Dragon right off of it with the biggest damaging members of Dynasty alive. So this should just be a free tower here for them. And just at this point, I think if you're Dynasty, you're kind of, you know, you're stepping on the gas a little bit, but you got to make sure that you got some safeties on as well, because you know this Tristana is getting super scary, this Varus is getting super scary, and if I look at the other side, yeah, they have a Kai'Sa, but I think I'm taking this Varus or a Varus over a Kai'Sa at this, you know, in this meta currently, or at least in this game.
Yeah, like definitely, I think, especially with how these team comps are set up, the Varus is able to free hit, so the scaling will definitely be on the favor of this Varus. And with two dragons, like with the early dragon start for the ETs, and now they give both of these ocean dragons. So the soul is out of the table for them for another 10 minutes. And like that was, I think, half of their win con, because if you get the ocean soul, now you can look to fight these team fights. But
yeah,
you're giving two. Now you're kind of not winning the side lane because of like Olaf actually finishing a few items here, and like Tristana is way stronger than this Ahri. We see actually like I want to kind of take a look at the personal gold of these players, and 600 to 1,000 gold difference for both
Yeah,
of these ADCs.
It's
So
2,000. It's a 2,000 gold difference between the mid lane here. So the entirety of the gold, most of the gold gap is in the mid lane.
Extinction might be getting caught. He actually wasn't able to get the flag and drag out. He flashes away. The Chains of Corruptions come through. Outrage was kind of trying to move into a flank, but Extinction goes down way too fast, and he does get picked. It might mean that OTF will actually be able to take that topside turret. So it is, again, a trade of gold, and this mid lane turret is actually really low. So Rod Stepbro is actually moving up. Might mean maybe Dynasty can force on this turret, but they don't really have the information, so they will just going to reset. Versus sitting on 1,000 gold. Tristana was also sitting on 1,000 gold, and we see finally the third items coming through for these carries. And to be honest, I'm all for OTF just playing for the side lane. Like, this team shouldn't be losing the rest of the map, but Outrage is actually taking this fight, but he is going to be get roamed on by the rest of ET, and he might go down. He did some valiant effort to take down X there, but with the help of the stone plate, that is not an easy job to do. So another
Not really
kill.
sure why he's even doing it, to be honest. There's nothing up on the map. That's just giving away 300 gold for free.
Yeah, I'm just an
if
ego
I'm-
play, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, I know a little bit about Outrage, and I'm not surprised to see a little bit of an ego play every now once in a while. But if I'm the Mordekaiser there, I'm just saying, gimme.
Exactly. And Toxic Koopa is actually getting chunked here by Vishva, and Baron and Dragon both coming up around the same timer in a 1 minute and 10 second time. So, actually burning the flash from the Jarvan in the previous play is definitely going to be used. That takes off some pressure from your backline, and like if you catch him out again, he's not going to have the flash. So Extinction needs to play a little bit more.
Critical thing to note: there is no vision for Dynasty. If you vision toggle there, if you look, there's nothing in that lower quadrant, so they're setting up around that dragon for a huge play.
And X actually pulls OT. OT burns flash. Can ET actually get a kill here? But he's actually going to try to play it safer, but Extinction also made the rotation there. Looks like Dynasty's kind of prioritizing this Baron a little bit more than this Ocean Dragon. And on the other side, there's a pretty heavy commit onto this third dragon. But like, if you're trading Baron and this is not Soul, I don't think this is ever worth it.
I was gonna say, I feel like if I'm the side of Dynasty, I'm taking that Baron every day of the week. You know, Ocean Soul, at this point, Ocean Soul's really far away, so.
Yeah. ET's actually sitting on vision, and they don't really have mid lane covered, so they're definitely going to lose this turret. Like, Fallen Warrior and Vishwa actually trying to move in from behind, but OTF Rocket jumps back towards his team, and actually the Chains of Corruption land onto front step, bro, and the engage comes through. Extinction and Outrage was able to do some damage, and it looks like the fight is going pretty well for the side of Dynasty. Illicit Raven still has his ultimate open, and it's going to be not a clean ace, but a full ace for the side of Dynasty. They take down 5, they trade 2, but they are going to be able to get an inhib. And
I mean, that should be the game. I mean, the two. Look, you gotta.
actually, the time was way too long. They have the wave as well. Yeah, you're right.
You got Tristana on your. You've got a Tristana on your team, and you've got a Varus. You know, if this next wave comes up, Varus kills a minion. Not even need it. Just takes the game.
Oh, it's actually just GG off that one fight.
Well played by the side of Dynasty in that last fight. There, a little bit dicey at the beginning. I'll admit. They were a little bit interesting strategies at the beginning, you know, giving them like 8 kills in a row. It's a little bit of an interesting strategy, but in the end, worked out for them. That Olaf was coming up huge, flipped a collapse back around on ET there, pulled it off, and just the damage. I mean, quite honestly, I mean, early game, Sejuani was absolutely carrying ET. Mid-late game, I think it was just a mid-gap, honestly. I think that that Tristana OTF was absolutely massive, dealing huge damage. And yeah, I mean, that's about all there is to say. I think just late game, the damage came online, and the simple execution was there for Dynasty.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like ET kind of overestimated their team fighting power after the early gold lead. But again, you have like Sejuani, Mordekaiser, like Isakari, Thresh, Kaisa Thresh, like they're all kind of single target. And on the other side, you have this Swain, like Varus can actually hit multiple people with his Q. Jarvan is like mainly AoE damage with the Cataclysm, and the Tristana Bomb also doing AoE. It is definitely a hard team fight to fight, and Dynasty manages to pull it back, maybe a little bit later than we expected, and not with the laning phase. But with that, we're just going to send it to a short break, and we'll be right back with the second draft of this game.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome back, everybody. After a game 1 win for Dynasty, we're now starting off with the game 2 draft. And
Yep,
again,
yep.
I'm here with my good color caster here, Swiper. How are you doing?
Take it. Good color caster, I'll take it. I'm doing good. I'm just laughing to myself here because we insta see the Tristana ban from the side of ET. They're traumatized. They've seen some things.
I would be as
So-
well. I would be as well. And that's definitely, even outside of like the late game team fights, just the laning, I think gave enough mental damage to Vishwa there.
It was a very impressive. Yeah, you know, it didn't seem very good because it wasn't resulting in things. But like, if you ever went mid, and Tristana was jumping, and it was a real quick, what the heck is going on? Half my HP is gone. Even with getting charmed up and damaged back, it just seems so oppressive. So I'm not surprised to see it banned away. LeBlanc comes through again. Dynasty showing the respect to the Thresh, to Fallen Warriors Thresh. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So, wait,
Oh.
Dynasty's like, hey, you think you can play Kaisa? We're gonna do it better.
I think the interesting part is we saw like 2 different champions banned here, so Tarek and Ash is open. And I was gonna say, Kaisa is good. I have nothing against the Kaisa, but definitely I think Ash has been like a really dominant one, especially with like it gets online a little bit earlier. The laning, it makes the laning
So
much
annoying.
harder, and like it forces you to take cleanse 100%. Like
Yep.
things like that, and then obviously the vision control that like her hawk, or I don't know which animal that is, but
Yeah, I think it's
that
the
it-
Hawk Shot.
yeah, like those things enable is I think insane. So good pickup from ET, and they pick away the Jarvan as
I got
well.
mute for 1 second.
Oh, good. I can go solo. Jarvan is actually picked away, and the answer to the Jarvan pick away is actually the Wukong, which I think is one of like Extinction's power picks for himself. I know he likes playing that champion a lot, and this time he's actually
Mac.
getting that pick. I wonder if they're just gonna go with the Rel, but instead we see the Tarek,
Ooh,
which
the
does make
takeaway.
sense. Yeah, like it went unbanned. Wait, it went unbanned, I think, by Dynasty. So they didn't ban it this time. They pick it away, and you already see like the Ashe, the Jarvan, so you already have an idea of what ET is kind of looking to do. They're looking to be a little bit more aggressive if they're engaged. So Tarek is definitely a good pickup. It works really well with Wukong, since like you can just send the Wukong out, and
Yeah,
it's
he's
just
a
going to like
classic
just be really
Milio.
disruptive. Yeah, and Milio Ashe. We've seen like Lucian Milio, Aphelios
almost
Milio.
almost as good as the Tarek Ash. I think that the
Yeah.
Tarek Ash or the Milio Ash are 2 of
Yeah.
the main ones you see there. But I mean, Milio's Milio. I think he got hit with a nerf
Yeah.
just recently, didn't he? I don't know if it. I don't know how much it affects him, but
It did get hit by a nerf, but like in the end, you like he's playing. This is an enchanter lane for ETN. Like when you pick Tarek, as long as the enemy team is not playing engage, there's really a lot that you can do. And
Yeah.
like Milio in general, like he can cleanse the stun from the Tarek. It kind of forces Dynasty to like not really pick a lot of CC moving on into this draft. It can boost Ashe a lot, especially in the early game as well. It is going to be like a hell of a lane for Dynasty to play against. It is going to be
Yeah.
super hard for them. And again, like Milio can help Ashe to like just peel back the Wukong. The knockback will definitely make Extinction's life much harder when it comes to sticking to the backline. And we also see the Victor, so we're seeing a little bit of like late game safety as well.
yeah, curious to see what the side of Dynasty is going to pick up here because they did throw 2 top lane bans, which indicates they're trying to make it a little safer for something, hopefully something a little spicy for outrage in the top lane. But I mean, they also from the side of ET they threw out the side of ET threw out 2 mid lane bans to protect this Victor. So let's see if either team can make it worth it.
Oh,
Malphite, okay.
I think
I mean,
I like it.
I definitely don't dislike it. I mean, it's one of those things where it's it's hard to cleanse a knockup. You can't really do that. So I mean, they found the solution.
Okay.
Oh my good, we got
We are
spice.
going.
We got
we're going
spice.
full on.
We got spice going into game 2 here.
Yeah.
We got Wukong Malphite with the Yasuo, who I believe does okay into the Victor. I don't
Yeah.
think he loses it. I don't think he wins it. I think that if, in an extended time duration in lane, it might go the way of Victor. But I mean, Yasuo's got the wind wall. He's got the dash through minions. He can sort of farm from range. So let's just see. They got an answer top lane with Aurelia.
Like, my stance of this is like you ban the Silas yourself, so you allow the Malphite to go through. Malphite's really good into Ashe Melia because they both don't have mobility. They're both really squishy, and then you have the Yasuo to follow through. And ETN picks Aurelia into Malphite, which will, unless this Aurelia builds up a huge lead from like the early levels, which I don't think it's really possible into Malphite, it's just going to get harder once he starts stacking this armor. And like in a team fight, you go in with Jarvan Aurelia, Terror ulti comes through, you're not killing anybody, and then Malphite engages and your team is kind of wiped. So it's definitely a hard team comp to really play. And like you look at the later game side lanes, Yasuo will definitely win against Victor if Victor's not paying attention. He can just slide through the minions and kill him. And it should be really hard for him to kill the Malphite, but like potentially normally.
I think it come level 6 in this game is where we're gonna have to see. I think the thing is we're gonna have to see how Dynasty can live till that level 6 when they have the ability to send in the Wukong for ultimate, with a Taric ulti on him, or the Malphite with a Taric ulti on him. And just see where we can, like, how late they can just chill until they can come online a little bit before they start going in, Preferably not before the Yasuo O10 power spike. Preferably before that. But we'll see. It's definitely a whole new look for both teams.
Yeah.
I don't think that, now we've got from the side of ET, Eclipse Tides is now they're the ones that are looking to kind of go all in, and Dynasty same thing. They're kind of go all in, but it looks selective. Their engaged looks way more selective now. They've got to have smarter looks than before, where it was just point click on somebody and kind of just go. So I mean, I like both drafts a lot. I think that, they're fairly standard across the board. I think the biggest thing is obviously the Malphite Yasuo. I haven't seen that in any kind of 5v5 play in a while. Not to say that it's going to go poorly or anything. I think they're both really strong champions. The only thing I'm curious about is if the Malphite pick forces the Ashe to go Gale Force as opposed to the Trinity Force, or the Triforce, which she does really well with. But
I personally think if you go Gale Force, you might just like not just do enough damage. I think he definitely needs to go like a more damage focused mythic, especially with like Gale Force and getting nerfed this patch again. It's not just as good at all. I think the only good thing that I see about ETN, like compared to Dynasty, is that they're not going to be able to like not allow the engage. Like Malphite's just gonna ult in. But if they can actually use their range advantage to maybe poke them down a little bit, using the Victor, using maybe Ashe, and like if they create enough space, then Ashe has the like kind of the place to maybe flash away from Malphite ulti. So playing around sums, playing around the range is definitely what ET is looking for. And I like Dynasty's team comp, but if they do the same mistakes that they did last game, this might just be a harder game to play through. Because
I think it's a lot easier to punish their draft this game than last game. So it's a lot more execution based as opposed to last one, just face roll.
Yeah.
I think that we're going into the spectator delay here, so we're going to have to catch up for 3 minutes. So we're going to send it to another quick break, after which we will be back to cast hopefully as interesting a game as last time. I mean, can't ask for much better in terms of League of Legends, so we'll catch you guys in a couple minutes.
Well, welcome back everybody. Again onto the Summoner's Rift with game 2 of this quarterfinals matchup between Dynasty and Eclipsing Tides. Game 1 went to the way of Dynasty after a shaky early game, and let's see if they're going to have a more consistent game or Eclipsing Tides will be able to shot back and even the series.
Yeah, I think both sides obviously have things to clean up. I think that if Dynasty cleans up their early game, it should be fairly easy. And then on the opposite sides of the Eclipsing Tides, they just have to clean up their mid to late.
Definitely. And like, looking at the summoner spells again, I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary. Kaisa running the cleanse kind of has to respect the Ash arrow, especially after level 6. And Vishva, we might be seeing a little small trading here, but it's only going to be a trade of their abilities. Yasuo obviously getting the better part of the trade thanks to his shield, but I'm kind of more interested in how both these guys will be pathing. I'm interested that Rod Stepbro misses the blast plant, but I'm interested that he's actually pathing to the top. Maybe he's looking to get a small lead for his top laner before this Malphite gets extremely tanky. And yeah, both of them just starting on their respective bot sides. And in mid lane, we already see both of them almost chunked down to 50% HP.
I'm actually curious. The only thing I'm curious to keep an eye on is this Aurelia going lethal tempo here. I was half expecting to see a Conqueror, but I mean, we'll see if she's just trying to prio getting some range on the Malphite or what. Yeah,
I feel like the amount of auto attacks doesn't really matter. Oh, we see a level 2 gank straight into bot side here, but from the Jarvan. And we also see some fighting up top, but Toxic Koopa getting slowed already. They're walking up. They're walking up to get the level 2, but Alyssa Raven still is not level 2. The knockup lands, the slows are coming through. There isn't going to be much here, but just a little bit of damage. And then we see up top, ET
Outrage.
making use of the lethal tempo, and Outrage is already chunked to really low HP, and he's running the Dorn's ring, so he's definitely not going to have that regen possible from the Dorn's shield.
I take it all back. I love lethal tempo. It's my favorite rune on Aurelia. Like, yeah, bro, I'm broken.
I must say, I think he might have done the same damage, maybe even more with Conquer, if anything. Actually, we see an invade coming here by Extinction. He saw Blood of Rod Stepper was actually level 2, so he's actually able to just push him out of the jungle, and he has the smite. He smites away the red, and now Jarvan is actually left at a really awkward point because there is vision on that Raptors. Extinction can still try to punish him for this. Rod Stepper is really low, so he smites and misses. So he doesn't get the camp. Extinction might get a first blood here. Oh, he doesn't flash to kill? That's interesting.
I don't think he was expecting the quite such a fast reaction from the Jarvan, and it would have put him between the two towers with a healthier Victor from the side of ET. So I can respect it. I mean, you get the flash for nothing, plus you get the camp, and he's gonna go up there and he's gonna pick up another camp. You know, it looks like his Malphite. It looks like I'm looking on the minimap here. Malphite did TP back top lane to support this Wukong's further engage and further invade.
Yeah, and to be honest, this Jarvan is now left at a really awkward spot. He's going to be able to take the Wolves, take the Gromp, possibly take the Skullo as well. He's going to be extremely underleveled compared to this Wukong. ETX might want to be careful. Extinction is going to show himself so that Outrage can push this wave in. But when we look, there's still a lot of camps available to Extinction, so he's just going to farm it all up, just get ahead in gold and EXP. Rod Stepper did help his bot lane with that initial gank, so they had the HP advantage and control of the lane for the most part, but trading that for your whole top side is definitely not what you're looking for. And Vishwa is actually caught here with no mana. He might want to flash soon, otherwise he's just gonna go down. Oh, the tornado misses, but the flash comes through from Extinction.
Ooh,
he didn't
double
get the
flash. Wow, what was that? Crazy. Good reaction time by Vishwa.
Yeah, he lived with barely any HP. I think it was 20 when we looked at it. So
really close for Vishwa. He does burn
mean-
the flash, so
He's got the summoner spell discipline, I guess. He was like, I don't got a flash, I don't got a flash. Okay, maybe now I got a flash.
yeah.
So well done by them. Left it a little tight, but
A little too close, you know. Playing with
I was-
fire a little bit.
I was just about to make a comment too about how OTF, you know, this is how the lane goes when you get a ranged mage into a melee like that. Because I saw the health bars, and then all of a sudden, OTF was like, nah.
Oh,
Damage.
OTF, nice.
Oh my! Look at this! Look at the moves, the
Nice
fancy
moves.
footwork. He's out.
To
of
be
there.
honest-
he's gone.
Yeah, with Rod Stepbro not having flash, like OTF will be safe. And for Extinction, it's definitely is like a little bit unfortunate. 2 people living on 1 HP, where he could have possibly killed both of them. But he has the XP lead, he has the camp lead. His team is doing actually fine when it comes to CS. Even up top side, Outrage is not behind it too much. Down in bot lane, I expected this lane to like be much more dominant, to be honest, from Downfall and the Fallen Warrior. So definitely, early game is a little bit slow for, I think, ET's taste, because this is where their team comp is a little bit stronger compared to what Dynasty drafted. And like moving on after the level 6 comes through for the Wukong as well, with no flash, Vishwa is going to be under some issue.
Unfortunately for the side of ET, this bot lane, although it can be aggressive, the counterplay is just stand behind minions. So it looks like Toxic Koopa and Illicit Raven have been doing quite a good job of trying to fan out their minions a bit. And then just standing behind them. Because it's not like they have to play sides, they just have to literally play opposite to or just straight behind the minions or in the minion wave. And Fallen Warrior, you know, won't be able to get his ball off, and the Ashe won't be able to hit those arrows, so.
Yeah, and let me look at the items. Like, Noon covers are completed for both ADCs, so they're gonna have easier time clearing these waves. The Lost Chapter finish for Vishwa will definitely help him in the lane. We saw that he was running out of mana quite often trying to poke OTF, so he should be fine with that as well. The Dragon is actually coming through, but bot lane we see some fighting, and then Ashe proccing the lethal tempo already, chunking both Illicit Raven and Toxic Koopa to less than 50% HP. We see the Wukong is around. He does have level 6. Vishwa really needs to be careful here. No flash. The combo comes through. The Spectral
Wombo combo,
ultimate.
baby.
And he's actually, can he get out? The flash comes through from OTF just to secure the kill. And they will be able to grab the first blood onto OTF on the Yasuo. And this is definitely start that Dynasty was looking for.
Yeah, that's it. That's the level 6 you want, right? You want to catch somebody out. You want to get that ultimate. Well done by the side of Dynasty. I mean, it was sort of handed to them by Vishwa.
Yeah.
If we can, I was gonna say we can pan top lane here. Spectator, we got a little bit of a skirmish going on. It looks like got them just
There is some
top lane
fight.
bashing at each other.
Outrage?
We'll see. Outrage does have
He
ultimate.
might- oh, he ults
Oh.
in?
Ults in.
Question
and,
mark?
He ults in with no HP, so. OTF
that-
also looks like he's going down here,
Oh.
unfortunately. So some good counterplays by the sides of ET. I mean, I don't know what Outrage was doing in the top lane. Decided to take a whack-a-mole fight with the Aurelia and just Aurelia's full build already. So I mean,
Yeah.
what can you do?
Yeah, he's
Aurelia's got the Vamp
close to
scepter, so
that full build. Like, Bork is just like when you're late game Aurelia already in 10 minutes in. But I must say, I'm really surprised that he's not building armor, rather going Sheen and Bammies. I think you just go like your steel caps and grab a Warden's Mail and just Aurelia will not be doing damage with your auto attacks. So
I was about to say, yeah, Warden's Mail in this
Sure.
matchup is just so oppressive.
yeah, so like I'm
mean-
really surprised with that build choice, and it looks like
To me, it just indicates that it's not, you know, it's just one of those things where it's someone said, hey, we need you to play Malphite, and he said, okay, I'll do it, but he doesn't really play that often, so.
yeah, being a Malphite connoisseur is kind of different than being a casual, you know? Like when you really know the champion.
Yeah, there are a lot of
Definitely
different
is
build
going to be
paths
better.
for the champion.
Oh, X might be looking to go a little bit aggro here. He does have his Jarvan here. No ultimates though, so they might want to be a little bit careful. Stepbro
The
jumps in.
side of
They're taking a lot of damage here.
Wukong and Yasuo are walking
Oh
up.
no, this might go really bad for ET from now on. X is going to get picked. Rodstepro is forced to EQ away. But again, a kill just gifted over to the Yasuo. You really don't want to get this guy fed because this is the Vincon. Like the Wukong, the Malphite, the setups are all for the sake of this Yasuo being able to kill. And Extinction has the idea that Rodstepro is over to on this Krug, and Rodstepro can he get up, but he's not going to be able to. He goes down. We see some biting over down to the bot side as well. The Taric ultimate comes through. They're not going to be able to kill. The Milio is taking really low. No ultimate. He goes down. Duffel walks up to get a few auto attacks in, but that might mean he goes down as well. Toxic Koopa flashes on. He goes under turret. He trades kills, but it is going to be a 2-for-1 in the bot side. Wukong pick up a kill up top. So a really good plays overall on the map.
Good swing of tempo, honestly, by the side of Dynasty. OTF is just skating around in the mid lane, doing what he can do.
Oh, OTF? He's going full on. He's actually getting pretty low. He might lose this. He walks back, takes a few extra damage. Rodstepro just flashes in, uses the Cataclysm. He gets away from Wukong and picks up the kill onto OTF. So, good play there. He EQs in, to be honest. That's a pretty bold move, knowing that like you don't really see the Malphite. Outrage initiates another kill. Rodstepro, can he live this? He's getting shielded, he's getting healed up, and he's able to live! And he... Oh, illicit Raven stun is not gonna land, so...
Milio, everybody.
Yep.
Welcome to the League of Milio.
Good roam timer from Fallen, though. He recognizes that his team might need him up top side, and he actually saves his jungler. And with Extinction Dead, this might mean ET forcing down this dragon and picking up both the early game objectives again in this game.
It's good moves from the side of ET. I mean, this is both teams making mistakes, but both teams also playing very well. Both junglers are reading the map very, very well. It's very nice to see it. You got some individual outplays coming in from EX, but for the most part, it's just junglers being in the right place at the right time, doing the thing.
I would just TP's in, but he has to complete a Sunfire to X's not finished work. So he might actually just win this. He's just fist fighting the Irelia. Lethal Tempo not looking so good here, and he just slaps him in the face.
Lethal Tempo is a terrible rune, I'm telling you. It's so bad. I've never seen something worse on Irelia in my life. Exactly. I've never said anything nice about it. No good. Would never take that.
Like this is what I think we mentioned before in the draft. Coverage doesn't even have like steel caps or warden's mail, and he still beats him handily. And Vishwa goes into stopwatch. Pretty good play there, but Rodstepro is just forced to ulti in and then EQ away. There's just going to be trade off the ultimates for both sides.
Yeah. Ultimates burned. No flashes or anything, so just ultimates burned. Those will be up in like 60 seconds. So nothing really, objectives, they'll be up by objectives. It is unfortunate because both of those, all those ultimates are used for like kills and nothing was gained from it, which kind of feels bad, but I mean, it also meant nothing was lost. So net neutral. Can't really complain for either side here because I think both these teams want the game to go a little bit later. Obviously from the side of ET, I think you want a bit of a snowball. Item-wise, you've got full items coming through. Static Shear for the Kaisa, as expected. Kraken Slayer first for the Ashe. I do want to see what the Mythic is going to be on the Ashe, but that'll be shortly. We'll be able to tell.
Okay, Extinction is actually forced to jump away from his bull buff, being pressured by both of the soul laners from ET. And as you mentioned, actually, we might see
we got a fight coming here. I think we might have.
We forced the flash here. Yeah, they forced the flash. Good summoner spell burnt, and then the Crystal Enchant Arrow lands an outrage. Maybe it forces him to miss a few minions up top, but
FF15.
There isn't going to be much else completed. The Kaisa almost has the full Nashers. He's definitely working towards it. And we see Rodstepro actually making the move down here. But Crystal Enchant Arrow was already burned, so I feel like this dive is that much harder without without that ability.
Yeah.
Um,
Good read by Toxic Koopa as well. Backs off. Has the ward there, so sees it coming and just kind of leaves. Or no, place the ward. They're sticking around there. Oh, Toxic.
You see,
No.
actually, Vishwa actually goes down in mid lane. Toxic Koopa is exhausted. Good ulti, but he is just going to be
One more.
Does he die to minions? He
got
so he trades. That is actually really good.
Up top side, we've also got a fight going on. Oh my goodness, Outrage is just
really.
He's Russian slap fighting this guy just off the face of the earth.
Yeah, and to be honest,
he's got the hands.
overall on the map, like I think there was a play made on Vishwa. I'm just assuming it was just the Wukong Yasuo pulling out the combo again. So mid lane goes down, top lane dies in a 1v1, and then your dive attempt down bot side fails, and Toxic Koopa is able to trade 1-for-1. So overall, Dynasty is okay with this play because the gold lead just jumps up to 2.7k, 6k, and like you do want to be the ones ahead early for the side of ET. You don't want to give a lot of gold to this Malphite, to this Yasuo, and when we look at the gold for both of them, they're both separately up 1,000 gold. And even down in the bot lane, like even with the first turret gold and all that extra wave pressure, Kaisa is ahead, like 300 gold. So overall, like Dynasty is basically saying, okay, we're chilling. Like,
yeah, we're big chilling. You can do what you want. We'll react. We're just farming up. I mean, this Yasuo, I think, has he completed first item yet? Yeah, he does have. I've been seeing it a lot. This Gale Force on the Yasuo is kind of crazy. I mean, I had a couple games where the damage is nuts. The fact that it allows you to get in onto people, really good.
OTF and Extinction kind of doing an invade onto this blue side. They do have their ultimates and flashes available. I think all the summoner spells are able, but Outrage actually engages on to Vrud Stepper on ETX. Vrud Stepper is able to jump onto Toxic Koopa. He is able to kill him, but the things are not looking too good for X. He's trying to auto attack the Malphite, but it's useless.
Oh, poor Malphite was just sitting there taking it, but it doesn't matter. He's like, you can slap me all you want. I'm gonna hit you once, so you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So this is a poor lane. This is a rough lane for him now.
He just accepted. He just like was daring X, like auto attack me if you can.
You can see what's gonna happen. Watch what happens when I get unstunned. As we're gonna say, it looks like I'm curious what these two daggers or daggers are gonna turn into for the Aurelia.
I have to believe it's end, because if it's not that, he's just wasting a dagger.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, maybe a Stride Breaker, but I don't think that's good either. You have, like, 4 melees on the enemy team. I would rather see him, like, just try to rush the Gore Drinker into Black Cleaver as fast as possible. But the side lane will definitely be a pain for him to deal with. Like, in that last play, they were able to at least trade kills. They were able to take down Toxic Koopa and pick up Herald, but they need so much to get back into this game, at least tempo-wise, because you didn't get early dragons.
OTF versus Visual bot lane. Here we got fancy feet.
Oh, the flash!
Oh, flash will flash.
Yeah, flash will not save you. And topside, we see another play. X trying one more time onto Outrage, but that is a 2-item. Malphite, he just ults out, but X actually is trying to still chase. They saw the Taric, and it is not going to be any help. The Cosmic Gradius coming right on time. Outrage doesn't die. Vrud Stepper is now caught overextended. He EQs back in, but you do no damage to this Malphite. Toxic Koopa comes in flying. Can he take down Fallen Warrior? He can. So 4 for nothing for now. And 4 members strong up in this top side, while OTF is still down bot pushing the wave. Vish was going to... I think he burned the TP to get back in, but the fights are going heavily in favor of Dynasty, and this Malphite pick, Outrage finally, after I would say disastrous game 1.
If we can get a pan down the bot lane there, spectator or producer, just
again, we see another fight. OTF trying?
Bush was TP'd in and he took a fight. I don't know if we can follow up on it.
Yeah, he has to back out, so he burns TP, gets chunked, and a big difference maker in these fights is that Vishwa really needs his ultimate to really trade, but when you trade ultimates with Yasuo, he's just gonna have his last breath way faster than the Chaos Storm available to Vishwa. Like the cooldown on last breath is really low.
Last breath versus about 80 seconds, so it's a 30-second cooldown difference between the two ultimates. So for every 2 that that Victor uses, you can get 3 for Yasuo basically. So
I hope my eyes are. I hope my eyes are not right, but actually, there's a fight before I get to mention that. The tornado misses, so TF is gonna go down. I was gonna mention that is a Rage Knife on Irelia, and you don't want to go Goonsus in this game, man. You're just going to be so squishy.
I'm pinching myself. I'm trying to see if I'm sleeping. I think I'm having a bad dream.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Like you having that extra auto attack will not matter. The Crystal Enchanted Arrow just, I don't know, tickles Outrage a little bit, and Rod Stepbro is caught. No flash will mean he's gonna go down, and oh, that is a really awkward TP. But they don't really have anything to stop him. I thought the Milio would maybe at least look for a ball there, but X, brother, we've seen this.
We've seen this before. We know how this ends.
Yeah, and to be honest, with the Warden's mail on Outrage, X is just really in a rough spot. And OTF comes in, Gale forces, and Outrage is gonna finish that kill. Yeah, the Goonsus, I hate it.
What is going on? I understand the armor penetration, but like, you can buy a black cleaver.
Yeah, exactly
like,
what
what's
I was
wrong with a
gonna
black
mention.
cleaver?
Like, I don't know, if this was maybe a Varus, if this was maybe a Callista, sure, I'm all for it, but like, as Irelia, as one of the 2 members that is going to be in the front line, you really don't want to do this, and Rod Stepbro is not going to be able to catch up to this Baron take from Dynasty, so they get the Baron 22 minutes in, and they're already looking really strong. Every member is basically up an item compared to their counterparts here, and with this Baron push, they don't really have a good siege, so that might be the hard part here. But as long as they 1-3-1, I think they're just
I'm looking
chilling.
for the dive. Forget the
true.
siege. I'm looking for them to walk up to the tower, Malphite hit all, Wukong hit all. I'm just looking for ultimate button mashing here.
Yeah, especially with the addition of Tarek, they're not even under threat of like, oh, we're just going to be tanking the turret. No, you're just actually not taking any damage.
Oh, I overextended. Wait, my turret can make sure I don't take damage for like 10 seconds. Yeah. It's such a shame.
And we see
so
Dynasty.
Should be a free dragon. I'm curious. I don't know. This Aurelia in general. I mean, I made the comment about the lethal tempo earlier. Really leaning heavily into his attack speed, but it doesn't seem to matter. You know, this Malphite now has a full frozen heart. It's like, oh, you bought something to boost your attack speed. I'll just buy something to get rid of your attack speed, and you just wasted a mythic slot. Like,
yeah, and to be honest, separate from the fights, X has been actually doing a really good job of just like pushing side lanes and just playing for the turrets.
Yeah.
He actually got.
Yep. There's 3 turrets down now, I think, or X is at 3 that X has got. Did they get the bot lane outer or just the bot lane?
Yeah. Bot lane.
Get 2?
Both bot lane outers were down, so he actually gets a lot of gold. I was surprised when he was able to finish Gunsus and OTF. He gets hit by the stun from Irelia and the Crystal Enchanted Arrow. He actually really good reactions, to be honest, with that wind wall. He actually stopped it, but he is gonna go down to X there. I think X was the one who... No, actually...
Good setup.
Yeah, but on the other side of the map, Vishwa...
Oh my... What the...
Full armor Malphite.
Where'd he go?
Just like hocus
I saw him
pocus
and I didn't see him anymore.
Yeah, it's just like a good old Malphite magic there.
It's the magic trick.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, X is still on the top side. There's a fight going down in mid lane, but the bot lane is getting pushed in. Illicit Raven, I doubt they're going to be able to kill him. Cosmic Radiance actually comes through. In Extinction, the stun lands onto 2. He goes back in, and Downfall, if he goes down here, we might see the end of the game. Extinction is still able to heal up. With the help of the Tarek and Divine Thunder and Black Beaver, he's able to sustain a lot, and they just lose an inhib here for free. X might be able to trade one, but mid lane, Wukong is going absolutely
Downfall goes down, Fallen Warrior goes down. Rod Stepper is the only person, but you don't win a 1v1 against a Tarek buffed Wukong with Divine Sunder. He lives again on single digit HP. And X on the other side is getting actually ran down by Outrage. Outrage's ultimate just came back. So he is just going to look to run this Irelia down. Does he have enough movement speed? He might actually get faster by queuing the minion. We're gonna see, yeah, X should be fine. Outrage is gonna push this wave in. But a huge play there coming from Extinction. Basically 2v3 and just solo killing everybody there.
Yeah,
Really
absolutely.
good play
I mean,
coming from the support. And
something to note is I think this Aurelia is, you know, despite us talking smack about the build a little bit, she is strong enough. The only person on the map that can answer is this Malphite. I mean, but I don't think there's not a lot of people that can answer this Malphite. Period. Like, it's not just on the Aurelia now. It's kind of everybody is going to struggle against him. But yeah, it looks like that even though OTF has gotten himself pretty fed, that the Aurelia can deal with him fairly swiftly, as we saw in that top lane fight there between the two of them.
I must say it was kind of a 2v1. Like, not to really take away a lot from X, but then you have the jungler to help you. It's a bit easier.
Well, I'm talking about a later play under the second tower there, 1v1. But yeah, that makes it a lot easier when you have the jungler. But yeah, as long as this Malphite is there, like you can't walk up, you can't do anything. So they just get to walk in for free.
The ultimates are available for the side of Dynasty, so
all
see it
ultimates are
dive.
except for Aurelia's, but Aurelia's will be up in the
Downfall and
next
Fall,
couple
and
seconds.
they're almost walking in. Outrage has the flash ulti. He goes for the ultimate alone, and Vishwa is just one shot, just off the initial ultimates. The Cyclone comes through, which was interesting because there was no one melee to Extinction, but with the kill onto Vishwa, they might be able to just fight this. The dive is coming through. The Cosmic Radiance comes exactly on perfect timing. Once again, Downfall walked up to kill, but you're not going to kill anybody. F is trying to...
Aurelia's going in,
He's
EX, go for it.
Oh, Extinction! Oh, it was the clone. Never mind. Extinction was actually healthy, but a nice try from X there. I doubt they're going to be able to finish anything. Toxic Koopa low mana. The rest of the members are a little bit low on HP.
I don't know why they're not going for more. They got death timers on Vishwa. Vishwa's the only one up. I don't know.
Vishwa comes back right now. To be honest, with 20 seconds on both objectives, they might.
Yeah, yeah, they're just playing it safe. I can respect it, but wow, that was quite the fight. I mean, the Aurelia did a lot of work there, but I'm gonna stop talking about the Rage Blade. You know what? The Rage Blade has happened. It is what it is. We've got a shield bow now. We're on. It looks like 3 items across the board for most people.
I wonder what
the only one
is
is
going to turn into.
Wukong is slightly off of not enough gold for his Death Dance.
I don't like this call from the side of ET though. They're trading second dragon and a 1/1 Cloud Dragon for themselves for Baron. But yeah, 2 inhibs down, like those waves is gonna stack up really fast. And if Dynasty is able to just siege this top side and just able to get another inhib, we might just see the game close out just by the minion pressure itself. So this is actually an interesting call, especially when you have a Jarvan that has a pretty easy way into the pit. I was surprised that they at least didn't maybe send your carries down. Okay, you take the dragon and at least try for a steal on the
steal or something. At this point, I think if any of the members die from either team, I think it might be game over. As you saw, you know, Vishwa died, and Vishwa's not the most key element of the team. And that was it. Like, then they just get to walk in for free. So I think that ET is kind of evaluated that they really can't fight, and they just said we can't even contest that Baron even for a steal. But
and Outrage is looking for the Extinction is able to get the combo in there. The ultimates come through. Fallen Warrior is low. Vishwa already going down. Fallen Warrior going down. Extinction is actually stuck in the front line, and X is trying his best, but the Cosmic Radiance is coming down here. Probably will mean the end of this game. Downfall is left alone, and it is pretty. He got this. He hasn't been able to do much in this game. He does have 3 kills, but it's not gonna matter. The Crystal Enchanted Arrow
With the
goes
arrow.
to Narnia.
Point blank arrow.
Goes to
Sending it off
Narnia.
with sending it off to Reaper Cheap.
Yeah, and he's slowed by the Malphite Q.
They're gonna just leave him alone. Leave him alone. Oh my goodness, the poor.
But the Rage Blade on Kai'Sa actually means something compared to the one on Irelia.
Yeah, the Kai'Sa Rage Blade does work.
With talking a little bit more smack about the build choice from X, we're just going to see Dynasty going 2-0 in this best of 5. Now they need one more game to close us out. On the other side, ET has to pull back a miracle reverse sweep comeback.
I don't think it's impossible. We've seen some good stuff from ET. I mean, they put up a really good fight both games. It's just slowly started to slip away. I mean, we got a 10K deficit here in this one at the end, but for most of this game, it was within 2K until a couple bad plays, bad calls. So I think that if they just clean up, just, you know, don't let those 2 losses get to them too much, I think we can definitely see a competitive Game 3, maybe Game 4, and who knows, we might even have to see if our producer can pull out some silver scrapes for Game 5. Overall, I think, you know, valiant effort by both teams. The CS numbers are up there, but this was just an outrage show. Homie just decided he was going to smack some people around, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. So, good job by the side of Dynasty, and I think that that'll do it. We'll send it to a break unless you got anything else to add, Krail.
The only thing I'm gonna add is kind of an advice. I feel like Dynasty should like just stop counterpicking themselves. I feel like there was a few points in both drafts, like picking Ari when Tristana is on the table, picking Mordekaiser when Olaf is not banned, picking Irelia into Malphite, things like that. I think you just need to be a little bit more careful about in draft, and if they can do that,
shooting himself in the foot before the game even starts.
Because like game 1, they had a lead, and it kind of just didn't mean anything because of the draft itself. And then this game, it just like started off strong with the draft, and like Dynasty just took over. So I just want to see a little bit more like care while they're drafting for this next game. But yes, as you said, we're just gonna throw it to a short break before we are back with Game 3 draft, and we'll see you later. Well, welcome back, everybody, for Game 3. This might be the decider. This might be the start of a comeback. We're gonna see it just in a second. We're actually live with the draft as well. We're seeing the bans coming through. We see Tristana, which was extremely OP in the Game 1. We saw Tarek actually was banned away Game 1. It had a great what can I say?
Come on, let's see
My
it.
English
Give
is
us a
not.
LeBlanc. Give us a LeBlanc.
Actually, yeah, you're right. LeBlanc
It
is
got let
actually out of
through.
the table. Varus has actually picked B1 here for ET, and they didn't play this, but again, they pick it. Kai'Sa's banned. Ashe is still on the table. I wonder if Dynasty is gonna look to pick it themselves. It is mainly those three ADCs that are like really like common in the meta these days, and yeah, we do
Yeah,
see
there's
the
the
Ashe into
Ashe.
the Varus. I want to see a rally game, please.
We see.
This
I wouldn't be
champion.
surprised to just see the Milio, just see the bot lane switch. I would like to see it as well. I would like to see the LeBlanc pick up here, but I don't know if we'll see it because it does have counters. We'll see. We'll see how confident the Dynasty's mid laner is. Nope, not quite.
They pick. Okay, Dynasty picks the Wukong again, which is understandable. I think they had him on Jarvan, which he plays, but I don't think he looked too comfortable on the champion. I think he was
No.
kind of over forcing the idea of like Jarvan being an early game champion, and he kind of
agree.
fell behind because of that. But on Wukong, I think it's a much better comfort champion for him, and they were able to like use the Cyclone really effectively, and we finally get to see the Rel from ETN. And I think this might be a game changer for them. Milio is still on the table, so it might be a little bit painful, but they do pick the Malphite in
Ooh.
return. So if
Interesting.
Milio is picked, it is going to be an issue for them. But
There we go. There we go. We see the Silas.
yes, like this is why Dynasty was able to pick Malphite. They ETN banned Silas themselves the previous draft, so Malphite was open and they go vent for it. But this time you pick Malphite, don't ban the Silas, and now they're in a situation where even if you have the Malphite, now you're gonna have to deal with a Silas with the Malphite ulti, which does extremely more damage to a tank Malphite.
Or
Don't get me wrong.
or you get to deal with the Magnet Storm,
Oh,
or you get to deal with the Varus ult.
yeah, like
All three
this
champions
is-
right now are like a wet dream for Silas. Like he's foaming at the mouth right now. He's ready to go. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we'll see a couple counters for Silas come through,
and
or bans that counter Silas come through. But we also don't know where that Silas is yet, right? You know,
Yeah.
that Silas could be top lane, could be mid lane. I don't think we're gonna see a support. So
You see a Nautilus ban, which like I don't think Nautilus is like the support you want to go for. Even if you're going engage, I think the best option is always Alistar. And the fact that they have the Silas themselves means like Alistar is completely pickable. You don't need to deal with like a Silas stealing the Alistar ultimate. It does extremely
Agreed.
well on Terrell. It's good with Ashe. You get another frontliner, and you just don't need to go Milio, which would be pretty vulnerable against the Malphite as we saw last game. They banned the Olaf. This kind of makes me think they might be looking for a possible Mordekaiser on R4.
yeah, they're looking for some kind of a top laner here. I think this is showing Silas
Yeah.
mid. Whether or not there's the
And
Alistar ban
Alistar.
you're talking about.
Maybe they're listening to the draft. I don't know.
Yeah, they're listening to us. We are the gods of draft. You know, their coaches have left. Their coaches are gone. They're just listening to us, being like, yes, good idea. We'll do that.
Yeah, like why I said Mordekaiser is that you mentioned like Malphite can be a flex, but then if you're flexing Malphite to mid, you're sending Malphite against Silas.
Which
If
is
it's
like, yeah.
Mordekaiser, you're in the situation where like, okay, do we just try to pick him better? Oh, we see the
So they
Swain
pick up-
again
they
as
pick up the
well.
Swain for the ball in here. I actually I like
Flex,
it.
no?
That is a flex. That is still flexible. I do like this as well as a support though into the Rel, because the Rel goes in and post 6. That Swain wants you to engage. That Swain wants you to be in his face. The closer you are to the Swain, the longer he can deal damage to you, and that's just what he wants. So I mean,
No.
I'm not against this at all. We see Ari come through for the mid lane.
That is still a good ulti for Silas though. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it can do the damage to Silas, but again, Silas is a pretty slippery champion as it is. He's got the dash. He's got the pull, and so we'll see
Maybe-
what he can
maybe-
do.
Maybe they're just playing the mental game of like give Silas as many good ultis as possible so that he's
So
just gonna
he can't shoot.
he's just gonna choke under the pressure of which ulti I go for. And they
Yeah, and
actually
they're good.
okay,
And they're
Viego.
good. Not as good of an ulti, but still.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I was
Viego's
gonna say if they give
much
him Vi
better here.
ulti too. Oh my god! Like,
Yeah.
what is going on here?
I do like the Viego here because it kind of allows like ETN to play from okay, if you have to kill everybody with the Malphite combo to like okay, if you just need to focus on one target, and they do have really good one target damage with the Varus and Ahri, and then you just play off the resets. So like maybe if Silas goes in with the Malphite ulti, then they can play towards
and we
that, but
see
we see the Yone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it means
I'm curious to see where these go. Like, this is the
Silas
Silas
has
Yone
to be
is
top, bro.
flexible. I mean, I don't know. I would imagine so. Yone and
Yeah.
Ahri is a pretty good matchup. So I would expect to see the Silas in the top lane and be more of a direct counter to the Malphite.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing this. Silas go in his the standard build, lethal
Yeah.
tempo with his Rage Blade.
And like to be honest, to mention, like we saw how bad an auto attack based champion does into Malphite last game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and he got an early kill as well. Like X wasn't that weak into the laning phase. Like he got a kill.
No, he was pretty strong.
He had the CS lead. Everything was going in favor of him. But like the stat check champion Malphite is, he finishes his items and then you start losing the matchup. So I really doubt, and I think it would be really bad if they do send this Yone to top side. On the other hand, if you have this Silas Yone top, but if you have the Silas top, then you have a good matchup in both of these lanes. You can get prio. Malphite really has to respect the Silas, and like if you give an early lead to Silas, then the game is just basically doomed. Like overall, both teams have pretty good like engaged teamfight comps. Like one side you have the Yone Wukong, the other side you have the Malphite Rel. I think it is gonna come down to a little bit more execution for both teams because they both have like ways that they can just like clean up both these team fights. It's just gonna, I think, the more of the fighting that we're gonna see is definitely going to be down towards the bot side.
Yeah.
With the help of Rel Varus, this Viego can definitely look for some early kills. But then you have the range advantage and like the CC coming from Ashe Swain, so Wukong can basically do the same thing as well. So
yeah, I mean, as you put the nail, you hit the nail on the head when you just said it's a skill game. This entire game is a skill game. The last two drafts from Dynasty have been skillful, but less so, right? They've been pretty much hit a button, follow up on that button hit, and you win. But here, I think both teams have drafted very ebb and flow, right? We go in, okay, we got a backup from there, we go in here, and so it'll all be about the dance that these two teams do in these fights and who gets caught out when, I think. And I definitely agree that seeing this bot lane, how this bot lane comes in, because late game, I mean, if I'm looking at a Swain, Silas, Wukong, Yone, and my ADC isn't doing well, and isn't able to free hit and isn't able to hit, then I'm quite concerned because all four of those guys should get fairly tanky eventually. On the side of the Swain, he's got the lifesteal. The Wukong, I expect to see the Death Dance. I might expect to see a Death Dance come through for the Yone. Silas, I would like to see some armor, not just full damage, but we'll see. Yeah. Both teams, both teams are very, it'll be very interesting to see how they perform with their given win conditions.
Yeah. And I think, like, for the most part, we haven't seen the games really go through the bot lanes and rather from the solo lane leads. So, like, here, like, game one, we had the Tristana that really kind of popped off. Yes, the Varus was also decent, but I think it was the main guy was the Trist. In game two, we saw like the Malphite, the Yasuo, the Wukong pop off as well. I mean, if you look at this game, we have two ADCs, but not really anybody to peel for them. So I'm just going to assume like they're just going to be just killed by the respective top sides of each team. And again, it's just going to be on like which top side can play these team fights better and win it for their team. And when I look at that, if the Varus is dead, I don't think there might be enough damage coming from the ETN side
Yeah, it doesn't.
compared to like a Wukong, Silas, Yone, and a Swain on the back. So
Well, you said it right. They're looking for resets. You know, in a straight up 5v5 team fight, I don't see how Eclipse Tides does it. You know, they're looking to get that reset on Ari ultimate, on the Viego ultimate. Like they need those to continue the team fights and continue fighting. But in straight up 5v5, you know, deathball fighting, you got a Wukong with his ultimates and AoE, Swain's AoE ultimate, Yone's AoE ultimate. Silas has several ultimates that he can take. They're all AoE. Plus, you also, like, honestly, this game, you got an engage tool in the Crystal Arrow. You know, you throw that arrow down the lane and bam, hit somebody. And the whole team can collapse on him.
Yeah, as long as it's not Malphite, they should be pretty good. Like anybody that like.
Yeah, I mean, even if you hit the Malphite, I think you can CC the Malphite long enough that you kill him. Like I still think it's the prime target.
At least
but,
do enough damage to like force him out of the team fight or something.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, 100%. Like I think that if you can force any of it, because like once Malphite's out of the fight, I'm gonna be honest here. Rel, not that is tanky, but is not the same. Like it's not a front line comparatively to the Malphite. So
yeah,
I think. I was gonna say, unless you got something else to say, I think we send it to break here soon, so we can wait for this spectator delay.
I was gonna say the same thing, but like
perfect, on the same page.
3 minutes left until we see the game 3. Again, as we mentioned, this is going to be either do or die for ETN, or Dynasty just close out a clean 3-0 win over in this quarterfinals matchup. So we're gonna be right back after the spectator delay, and we'll see you on the Rift. Well, welcome back everybody again onto the Summoners for the third game of the night. We see ET on the blue side, Dynasty back on the red side for this game. Last time they were in these sides, Dynasty was able to win, but they did make their own mistakes. So ET, it's not an impossible way for a possible comeback, and we're seeing a potential invade here. Not as well as the game one, since they don't really have the Thresh this time. They do have the Rel, but
Ooh, look
That
at all those.
is
Look at all those
so-
crows. Oh, that's
that is
juicy.
oh, that's fat. And already,
That's a three.
These
That's
are start-
three ravenous flocks for free.
yep.
That's 36. That's 36 max HP free. So
Yeah. So, not much coming out of the invade other than some advantage towards Illicit Raven. And oh, Outrage is actually here by himself. He might die? I don't know what he's doing. He's just gonna flash over the wall, probably. The flash is followed by X. Is he gonna go down? Oh, that's so unlucky if he does. Wait, Fallen? Oh wait, he just W's onto OT. And to be
Oh my,
honest, with
what
both
is
Solan is
happening?
chunked this hard, I would say this is a positive for ET. A really interesting play from Outrage. I don't know what he was thinking as a level 1 Silas. I don't know how much you can do there.
maybe he thinks that he can fight the. Or he got a ward down. Maybe he was just trying to get a ward, or I don't know. That something
He
was.
was just sitting there, so
Something's a
that's
little
what I was
fishy there.
surprised about. Like, if he did that on Olaf, I completely get it. Olaf is actually known to do that strat. Like on
Yeah.
Silas, a little bit more
A
questionable.
little bit iffy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna lose out on that level 2, which is fine. I mean,
He actually
he's
blew
not looking.
flash and TP, so Rod Stepro. I like this play. A little bit of a heads up play from him. Outrage? I want to be careful. He's also level 1 to level 2 of X. Rod Stepro is walking in. Oh, good interrupt onto the W
Oh
from
my goodness.
that would come from Rod Stepro, so he lives. Rod Stepro actually gets chunked and down in the spot side. I think Fallen Warrior missed some XP, so
We
not
got-
level 2 yet.
Play in the top lane, chasing out that Viego. Stepper's
Yeah.
running for his life.
Oh, Extinction shows
Return
himself.
play,
He's
return
level
play for
2
X?
as well.
No.
They're really heavy coming from both these junglers to like not really a possible play on both of these players. Maybe that initial gank from Rod Stepbro, maybe that was a possibility, but
Yeah.
we're gonna see them just go to their respective clears.
Looks like ET was trying to force that advantage, and then from the side of Dynasty, they were trying to protect their top laner and even that out a little bit. So I can understand moving the resources there for a bit, but hopefully now it calms down a little bit and we let them just kind of duke it out on their own for a minute.
Yeah, let me see.
Mid lane, we got a little bit of
Mid
it
lane.
go in by OTF.
Oh, actually a good trade,
Good
especially
trade,
with
good
the secondary damage from the Soul Unbound. And to be honest, when we look at the CS, like bot lane is actually doing really well. Already almost a full wave ahead when it comes to the CS numbers for Toxic Koopa. They also placed down the vision towards that tri-bush, so they're safe from a potential gank. I was looking at the summoner spell choices at the beginning of the game, and Vishwa does have the ignite, so if OTS oversteps and like he's not respecting this RE, you might see a potential solo kill. And then we see a little bit more fist fighting up top. Average is actually 20 to 10 in CS, and like that is kind of how the matchup goes. Like he's actually getting really good trades in. He's just low on mana, so that is probably going to force him back. The wave, I think, is in a situation where it's going to push back into him. He's going to lose a little bit
Yeah,
of maybe
it's gonna be a
XP, but
Slow push
Kinda has
for
to.
EX, so that's good for him for a back timer. I would like to make the other counterpoint to your Ignite comment there. That does, for late game, we got a little bit of play in the bot lane here. That does leave late game 1 TP down, which is not ideal.
definitely. Oh,
Downfall getting caught out here.
yeah, the hook, not hook, but the grab comes in from Illicit Raven, and Downfall, not having the best series yet, goes down as first blood. The kill is picked up on the Extinction.
And we saw what this Wukong can do. He was actually like pretty strong in game 2. He had like opportunities to 1v3 where he won. So getting these early leads on him is pretty good, but OTF is here. Soul Bout is gonna come through. Fallen Warrior is also here. Oh, he's gonna miss the stun. He still has the W. The stun comes through as well. OTF is forced to flash away. So
Well, good play by Fallen there. Fallen really, playing quite well.
Interesting. Like, I'm looking at some of the summoner spells and like top side of. Oh, actually, there's a kill.
EX just hit 6 and just went for it.
This is, I think, really similar to what we saw game 1. Like, Outrage was playing a counter matchup. He was ahead in EXP, but then he goes for a reset. It forces him to be behind in EXP, and then as soon as EX hits 6, he just punishes that, and then solo kills him.
That's where the TP diff comes in, because if you look at the thing about Outrage had a TP 2 lane at the start of the game and wasn't able to get back, whereas EX just based TP back to lane and didn't miss any farm. So
yeah, pretty big mistake in the early game, kind of affects the laning as well, especially this early on. But again, like, this is a matchup where even if you like give a kill early on, you should be fine. It is not optimal, that we must mention, but the other lanes are going really well. Like, the gold lead is still in favor of Dynasty for about 1,000 gold, and with ET actually not having ultimate, Outrage can maybe potentially look for his own solo kill soon, but instead he's actually pressuring onto Rod Step Bro. It actually burns his flash as well. I don't know if he had to burn the flash. Like, his mid laner was running back. Malphite was in a position where he can potentially move in. Outrage has TP, but
that is one tanky Rel. Just face tanked all that damage.
That is why I think Rel has been really good, because like, even if the enemy team does look for these kind of punishable things. Oh, we see another fight up top. X doesn't have ultimate. He might want to be careful. Outrage getting low, but he heals up with the W, and he's able to solo kill with Malphite's ultimate. Unstoppable Force does some damage.
Pulls out the Uno reverse card, says, I got the ultimate now.
Yeah.
I got the high ground.
And I think X was like, oh, we see another fight in the mid lane. The ultimate comes through. It Vivs. Vishwa is going to be fine.
Wow,
Outrage
Vishwa absolutely crushed it.
Oh, wait. Does he win this?
Is this the power of,
no.
is this the power of, oh my god.
Viego is not level 6, so this is going
illegal.
to be bad. He's charging the W.
It's illegal.
Yeah, don't do the play without level 6. No Spit Rush for Vishwa. He does have the flash. The flash comes through from Extinction, and there's no time left for Vishwa to flash away. So he is not going to be able to get the kill. We see some fights in bot side. X took Outrage to really low HP, but I don't think he's going to be able to kill, and Outrage has TP back, so he's going to be fine. But overall, really good plays all around the map.
Yeah,
Kills down bot.
Dragon getting started up here by Dynasty as they TP back top lane there, so.
And I think this is going to be the first
plays happening on many sides of the A. Oh my lord.
Oh, we see another play up top. X has flash, but he just gets one shot, so he's not even able to flash. And Outrage, after getting solo killed, thanks to some mistakes coming from X and Rod Stepper, he's just back at the 3-1 lead. And this is not what you want to look at in this Sylas Malphite matchup. You got a miracle lead, and then, like, mistake after mistake, you put this guy in a position where he can carry. They spot out the Rel. Extinction is around the same place, so there isn't going to be much happening. OT is just going to keep clearing this wave. He's again looking for a potential soul unbound trade. I think during that, Outrage was also able to grab a plate. So this Sylas is extremely fed. Like, he's sitting on 1,000 gold right now by himself. He's ahead in He's ahead. He's ahead in EXP. He's ahead in gold. He's ahead in items. Like if you look at the Wukong, he had like another 700 gold. The flash comes through from the Rel. Toxic Koopa flashes, but still gets hit by the towards the end of that mount up. Not mount up. I'm just dumb. Ferromancy. My bad.
My bad. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Has you know, you had a 50-50 shot.
True.
Oh, you had what? More than 50.
And we see Outrage playing aggressive on X again. Outrage does have the
He does
spear
have
rush.
Ari ultimate. He does have Spear Rush, correct. So he does have the
Herald is
ability to
being
do some.
started. Are they gonna contest this? This is a really bad idea. Like, you're extremely behind in gold and there's most of the major ultimate cooldowns are available. Spear Rush comes through, OTF Vifs the ultimate, but Rod Stepro is already chunked. Extinction is going to live with 1 HP. The Viego doesn't get the reset, so the fight is going to go heavily in favor of Dynasty, and another double kill being picked up, and another fight down in the bot side. Illicit Raven flashes away to live. The W doesn't land, and every lane on the map is losing for ET, and Dynasty is grabbing gold leads left, right, and center.
They have taken this game by the horns and said, this is it. This is the one. We're not going to 4. We are just rolling through. They drop the Herald top lane. They're going to break open this top lane tower. Hopefully.
Eventually.
Maybe. Potentially.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
They will. This Silas is absolutely massive. Where is the Dark Seal, my friend? Let's see it. Come on.
I think he hasn't even been able to reset.
Straight,
I think he's been
straight
sitting.
energized.
He's been sitting on that lost chapter, Ionian boost of mobility for so long, but
He is sitting on 3,000 gold right now, unspent. This
Yeah,
Yon is sitting on 2. This next dragon fight will
X. Oh, forced to flash. Outrage says, "Who needs a reset? I'm just good with my 3,000 gold in my pocket." Yeah, he looks like he doesn't want to. He doesn't like spending money, but to be honest, at this point, does he even need to? Like, he burns flash from X as well, so next time a team fight is going to happen, maybe in the next 5 minutes, there isn't going to be the threat of the flash unstoppable force, and OTF still looking to play a little bit more aggressive. Definitely a really good game for the first 12 minutes coming from Dynasty, dominating every lane. That was that initial mistake from Outrage, just not keeping track of the level 6 from his laner, but he made up for it afterwards pretty well. And I guess Outrage did listen to you and bought the Dark Seal. OTF going aggressive. The ultimate misses again from OTF. But Outrage is able to finish the kill.
Yes, he's so fed right now. There it is. There's the Dark Seal. There it is.
Yep. 2 stacks on it already.
Down in the bot lane, we
And
got
Varus goes down in the bot lane. I don't know what's going on. There's fighting all around the map.
You can't go in on the. No, what are you doing?
Trying
No, do it.
something. Oh, the pullback lands from the Illicit Raven, but I don't think anybody's gonna die. But this Viego hasn't really been able to accomplish anything in this game. No objectives, no kills.
Did they
Not ahead in
read the Swain
CS.
ultimate? How this works?
Yeah, definitely.
Did
Maybe
they
not.
read it to him?
Yeah, but Outrage is just face tanking the Malphite just to really get some kills. Outrage might actually get another solo kill. Darksteel stacks keep stacking on top, and that is 7-1 for Outrage in this deciding last game of this quarterfinal matchup. And he is saying, we are taking this game home.
When did they have a Nasus in this game? I didn't know there was people stacking. Like, damn. This guy's over here bonking them with his chains, left, right, and center. Looks like we got potentially. It looks like we got some. This looks like they're setting up a trap on this red buff. Uh-oh. Fallen.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, buddy.
It is a rel. He might be able to jump over the wall. Cyclone doesn't land. Oh, Outrage actually TP's in. Rod Stepbro, you don't want to be here, buddy. That is the last person that you want to see on the map. And he goes down one more time. 0-3 on the Viego. The healing, even through the heal cut coming from EX, he is charmed. Outrage might go down here. The 1,000 gold shutdown goes over to Malphite. But the rest of the fight is not looking good for ET. Regardless,
Extinction is able to pick up a double kill. Illicit Raven is going to finish that kill onto Fallen X Warrior. And 15-minute mark is passed with a 10k gold difference for Dynasty. A biggest gold difference we've seen in this series. And probably the earliest goal difference we've seen in this series as well. And this game is looking really difficult for ET to come back from.
And the key here for me is it's like you can look at the Silas, yeah, 8 and 2, but if you look across the board, you've got shutdowns on everybody else as well. Okay, never mind. The Yones just went away, but still you got 4-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-0. Like the only guy that's died is Outraged. So the rest of the team, it's not like it's just an Outraged show. The whole team is showing up to play. It's just Outrage is the one getting all the kills.
Yeah. To be honest, he did get a fair amount of solo kills. Not to take anything away from it. Toxic Koopa
fancy feet.
flashes the unstoppable, dodges the Viego W, but it's not going to be enough in the end. He does go down. OTF is trying to do some damage, but he's actually CC'd. Barely gets back. Outrage is in a 1v3, whiffs the Malphite ulti, misses everybody, and then he's exhausted as well, so he's gonna go down for the third time in this game, second time in a row.
Spoke too soon. We said this game is hard for
It was.
ET, but when Dynasty does that, it makes it look easy.
It is the curse of the Dark Seal. He got it, he stacked it a few times, and then he just died a few times. So, again, this is not really tempo changing level. Like, we still see the 10,000 gold lead go down to 9.5, 9.2. But like, it is still a huge gold difference to come back from, and this is definitely going to be still an uphill battle for the side of ET. But they are again showing signs of life. When we look at the items,
really critical that they're showing signs of life.
Yeah, and like when we look at the items, the second item comes through for Outrage, finishes the Cosmic Drive. So, well, in these like extended fights, he's definitely going to be able to do pretty much more damage. Wukong working towards the Black Cleaver as well.
The only big item diffs are for Outrage. Like there's some item increases on other champions, but if you look at full items, the only one that has double completed is Outraged over 1.5 for the Malphite. So
I think the biggest difference here. Oh, the Malphite ulti comes through, but it is only on to the Swain. I don't think that is what you want to focus in a team fight. Toxic Koopa is able to free fire. Listen, Raven is still healing up in the middle of the team fight. They finally get the Swain. They finally get the reset, but it might be a too little, too late. Vishwa is living on 1 HP, but it is not going to matter because the rest of his team just crumble around him, and he's trying to reset with 1 HP. He's spotted by the Ashhawk. Is he going to be able to live? Outrage fishing for the kill, lands the chains, and that will be it. A full ace coming for Dynasty.
That's gonna be an inhibitor at 20 minutes. I mean, I don't know. They might want to just try and take this tower and leave, but you know, they have this ability here to go for this inhibitor, whether or not they do or not. Let's see, do they go for the inhibitor? They are going for the inhibitor. They're saying we want to put the pedal to the metal.
Definitely, and they're just going to do some damage on
I was about to say instinct. You don't want that. You don't want that. Run.
He does have that 450 shutdown on him. OTF is trying to run away, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Outrage is around. Don't do it, buddy.
You don't want it, buddy. You don't want it. I don't think you want that smoke.
That is not the fight you're looking to take.
He is fishing.
A little bit of an overextension coming from the side of Dynasty. Outrage is actually on vision, so he might get collapsed on here. X, well, the 4 members are moving towards him, and actually that might just make that a 5. The ward comes through. They have all vision on Outrage, and this is looking like a pretty dire situation for him to get out of. He's trying to speed rush away, but he fails the second one, gets the third one off. Can he get out? The speed rush comes from Vishwa here. The few more spells, maybe the unstoppable probably needed. What is that ultimate usage? Is he actually gonna live? No way. 5 members strong.
Too good to be true.
Yeah, it was a really close one, but
overextension by a lot of people. And there go the Dark Seal stacks once again. It is the curse of the Dark Seal.
Yeah. Well, the only issue here is that there's nobody around on the
rest of the map to answer anybody. So I'm just assuming from seeing the Swain and Ash onto this top side, we might see them take a turret, but OTF going strong. The exhaust is forced, but Extinction comes from the side, uses a Cyclone. Can he finish the kill? OTF trying to do something. The Crystal Enchanted Arrow lands from miles away. So they're going to be able to pick up the kill as well. But the rest of the map is coming from Outrage. Downfall's 1 HP. He takes the unstoppable. Downfall's probably going to die without the usage of the Malphite ulti. Outrage still holding on to his ultimate. I think he has the idea that Vishwa is somewhere around. He has a Cosmic Drive movement speed. Can he just use his E ultimate to catch up to him? He uses it and he is going to be able to finish up that kill. And we see all this time. Oh, the stopwatch comes through, so he is able to survive. So
20 HP. 20 HP.
Yeah, he lives on
the whole time. If you look, the whole fight, we had Ash Sway just walking down top lane. That was quite literally a 3v5.
Oh, Outrage!
What are you doing? Oh my goodness, he
almost
fire.
The question mark ping coming from his teammate.
What are you doing, buddy? The question mark. I should say playing with water, not fire. It is an ocean soul. But
okay.
Okay, let's see. Let's slow it. Like, can ET slow the game down? That was a little pushing it. All right, I got it. It's a little late for that, huh? It's a little late for that kind of humor, huh?
It's, to be honest, if anybody was gonna die to Ocean Dragon in this game, if somebody asked me,
it would be
outrage. Like,
yeah.
After seeing all these things, he's making the outplays, but he has the biggest fails as well, like whiffing the whole Malphite ultimate and such. But we do see the side of Dynasty starting to set up around this Baron. X is on vision, so they have complete knowledge of where the teammates of X are. They're taking the bullbuff yet, but the Baron is started. Outrage is here.
I don't know if I'm Outrage. I don't know if I'm looking for a flank. I'm so strong. I think I'm just sitting there with my team. Who does he got? He's got Varus ultimate.
He's a corruption. He actually uses it right onto the Varus, but Outrage looks like he might get burned. The Zonius comes perfect on time, so he is able to survive. They do take out OTF. They did take out OTF, but 4 members are dead already. And this might just be the game here, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Extinction fails. One over the wall. Outrage flashes.
Oh my goodness.
And Illicit Raven is going to be able to hit the Nevermore. And with that ace, we're going to see Dynasty taking a 3-0 win with a pretty comfortable game 3.
Yeah, that was just Outrage said, hey, I got a very large backpack. Everybody hop in. I might trip a couple times, but I'll get us to the destination. And that is, I want to say a swift 3-0, but game 1 was extended a little bit longer after their stumbling in the start. Game 2 was fairly even along the way. This one was definitely a swift end from start to finish. Couple little rough patches in the beginning there with Outrage's invade decision, but recovered nicely and just across the board really, well executed plays from the whole team,
Yeah.
I gotta say, Instinction's Wukong far better than his Jarvan.
I think to add on that a little bit, I think the main difference that I saw was just like game 1. Although there were mistakes from the side of Dynasty as well, I think Rud Stepbro on the Sejuani was able to greatly outperform Extinction on the Jarvan in the early game, but once Ixie was more on like a comfort pick when he knew, I think, the champion's limits a little bit more, and the draft was also like pretty much set around the pick a little bit better. Like, he played extremely well in these 2 games. He was on point with his ultimate usages. He was really good with his gankings this time. He wasn't like wasting time like he did in game 1. And I think that just changes the whole aura of the team, because like from game 1, we saw like a lot of early game mistakes. The lead was actually thrown by ET to the side of Dynasty. But the other 2 games, we saw Dynasty have a much better team comp, and they played towards it. And they were on point, and those 2 games didn't really look that close. There were still some mistakes, but like for the most part, Dynasty wasn't the driver's seat. So I think
when they had that backbone of the Wukong, I think it really went the way of Dynasty a lot harder I agree with that. Not to say Outrage did nothing, OTF did nothing, but when they had that backbone in their jungler who could be there and support them in these plays, yeah, I second that very much. So that I might if I had to give a MVP, I might give it to Outrage, but Instinction, it would be up there for me.
I think when it comes to MVP, I would have to give it to Outrage. Like Ixie played good, but like when you look at it, like game 1, okay, the Olaf was bad, but like game 2, Malphite, like,
Olaf
got
was
a
bad.
lot of solo kills,
Yeah,
a lot of plays on the map. He didn't only kill X, but he was able to like push his lead onto Vishfall, onto Downfall and Fallen Warrior. And then this game, again, he died early, but then he was able to just clean up the whole game. Solo killed Vroodstep Pro,
Yep.
solo killed X, solo killed everybody available to him, and he just made sure nobody was able to play the game freely.
absolutely.
Yes, he did receive some help from his team. Like nobody really played bad on the side of Dynasty, but Outrage was that kind of the main guy that like kind of pushed them all over to the finish line. And to be honest, I don't know if you're doing any like interviews or anything after the game, but I think if you don't have anything to add, I think
that's it. I think that's it for us. I think congratulations to both teams. Unfortunately, only one person can walk away victorious. This time, it happens to be Dynasty. Good luck to ET next time around, and good luck to Dynasty in the semifinals.
Yep. I guess final shootouts. Thanks to Ejinx, thanks to Swiper for casting with me. I was Scroll. Ejinx was our producer. Wookie helped us set up and like kind of got us together last minute. So, and thanks to Dynasty for providing us with this stream. So
Yeah, awesome.
have a good day, everybody. We're gonna maybe see you with different casters on next Dynasty match.
Peace out.